It started as a simple dinner. Just a few close friends, quiet conversation, soft laughter, and glasses of wine glimmering under dim light. But before the night was over, a single sentence would ignite a wave of rumors that neither Dakota Johnson nor Chris Martin could escape. According to multiple sources, the atmosphere was calm until Chris, in the middle of a light-hearted chat, casually brought up a familiar name, Jamie Dornan. He'd reportedly mentioned a recent interview in which Jamie spoke warmly about Dakota, calling her one of the most talented and fearless people I've ever worked with. The moment that name left his lips, something in the air shifted. A witness told Hollywood Circle. Dakota's smile just froze. She set her glass down, took a breath, and said, "Don't mention him again." Her voice wasn't loud, it was calm, but there was this edge that caught everyone off guard. Chris, stunned, tried to laugh it off, assuming she was joking. But the expression on her face told a different story. She wasn't angry, the source added. She looked hurt. Within hours, whispers about the incident spread through celebrity circles, and by morning, it was headline news. Dakota Johnson snaps at Chris Martin after he mentions Jamie Dornan, read the front page of Starline Weekly. The internet erupted. Fans began speculating wildly about what had really happened. Some claimed Dakota's outburst proved she still had deep feelings for Jamie. Others argued that the topic had simply become too painful, a wound that never fully healed. Either way, the story had already taken on a life of its own. To the public, Dakota and Chris had always seemed stable, quiet, mature, and grounded in a world that rarely offered peace. Their relationship was one of Hollywood's most private love stories. But behind that calm facade, there were cracks forming, cracks that this moment seemed to expose. A close friend of the couple allegedly revealed, Dakota's reaction wasn't random. She's been sensitive about Jamie for years. He's a part of her history that she doesn't like to revisit, not because she hates him, but because it still hurts. Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson had once shared a connection unlike anything Hollywood had seen. Their chemistry in 50 Shades of Grey was undeniable, sparking years of speculation and fan obsession. Though both repeatedly denied any real-life romance, the emotional intensity of their on-screen relationship created a shadow that followed them long after the films ended. Chris Martin, understanding but curious, had reportedly asked Dakota before about her experience filming with Jamie, and she'd always answered politely, though briefly. But this time, something was different. Sources suggest that the timing may have been what triggered the reaction. Just a week earlier, Jamie had gone viral after an emotional podcast appearance where he talked about the people who shaped my artistic life. He mentioned Dakota's name with visible affection. Fans had clipped the segment and flooded Dakota's social media with comments like, "He still loves you," and "The spark never died." That flood of attention may have been the final straw. As one insider put it, Dakota's been trying to move forward. Every time Jamie's name comes up, it drags her back to a time she's outgrown. She's in love with Chris, but she's human. She's tired of being defined by something that ended years ago. For Chris, the situation reportedly left him silent for the rest of the evening. He didn't argue. He simply nodded, changed the subject, and carried on with the meal. But according to those present, the tension lingered long after. By the next morning, entertainment outlets had picked up every detail. Photographs of Dakota leaving her home looking visibly tense circulated online. Headlines screamed, "Dakota Johnson snaps, trouble in paradise?" Jamie Dornan's name causes rift between Dakota and Chris Martin. Twitter exploded with theories, edits, and emotional takes. Some fans sympathized with Dakota. "She's not being dramatic. Imagine hearing your past thrown into every conversation. It would drive anyone crazy." Others defended Chris. "He probably didn't mean anything by it. The poor guy just mentioned a name." The debate grew louder, more divided, until one anonymous friend stepped in to clarify. It wasn't a fight, it was emotion. Dakota's been under a lot of pressure lately. She's not angry at Chris. She's angry at how the world won't let her forget Jamie. Still, that one sentence, "Don't mention him again," became the quote of the week, replayed across TikTok edits, Twitter posts, and celebrity gossip videos. And as fans dissected every word, one thing became clear. This wasn't just a slip of the tongue. It was the sound of a woman finally drawing a line between the past and the present, even if her heart wasn't quite ready to let go. In the days that followed, the tension that began at that dinner table didn't fade, it deepened. Behind closed doors, Dakota Johnson reportedly went quiet. She wasn't angry anymore, she was distant, reflective, lost in a wave of emotions that only those closest to her could begin to understand. She didn't want to talk about it, a close friend told Variety Confidential. It wasn't just about that one moment. Hearing Jamie's name, it reopened something. Something she thought she had already buried. To outsiders, Dakota and Jamie's connection had always been a mystery wrapped in speculation. To those who had seen it up close during the 50 Shades years, it was much more, an emotional partnership built on trust, vulnerability, and shared intensity. They weren't just co-stars acting out romance. They had built a world together, one that blurred the line between fiction and reality. Even after the franchise ended, fans noticed how rarely Dakota spoke about Jamie. When she did, her words were always measured, gentle, and respectful, the tone of someone protecting a memory rather than denying it. So when Chris Martin, her partner of several years, casually mentioned Jamie's name in what should have been an ordinary conversation, it hit her like a wave of unfinished emotion. A source close to the couple revealed, it wasn't jealousy. It was pain. Jamie represents a part of Dakota's life that she's never really processed. Chris didn't mean any harm, but that night, it felt like a wound reopening. Rumors quickly painted a more dramatic picture. Headlines screamed about a massive fight and relationship in crisis, but insiders insisted the truth was quieter, more human. Chris, according to friends, was deeply concerned after seeing how shaken Dakota became. He didn't want to upset her, one insider said. He felt guilty. He kept asking what he could do to make it right, but Dakota just needed space. During those few days of silence, Dakota reportedly turned to work, filming, reading scripts, and spending time alone. But people around her noticed the change. She was quieter, more fragile, said a makeup artist who worked with her on set. It was like something heavy was sitting behind her eyes. And then came the breaking point. A reporter, during a promotional event for one of Dakota's upcoming films, casually asked her about her past collaborations with Jamie Dornan. The question was light, almost harmless, but Dakota's reaction stunned everyone in the room. Her smile faltered. For a second, her eyes flickered with discomfort. Then she said softly but firmly, "Let's not go there." It was polite, controlled, but final. You could feel the weight behind those 4 words. Clips of the moment went viral almost instantly. Fans analyzed every frame. Some said she was simply setting a boundary. Others felt they were watching a woman haunted by a past connection she still hadn't made peace with. On social media, fans flooded her comment sections with support. "She deserves peace," one fan wrote. "The world won't let her move on." Another said, "She's protecting her heart, and I get it." Even Jamie Dornan's name began trending again, though he remained silent, refusing to add fuel to the chaos. But a week later, he posted a simple black and white photo on Instagram, a quiet shot of the ocean with the caption, "Some things never really leave you." The internet lost its mind. Was it a coincidence? Or a subtle message? Fans connected the dots immediately, creating theories and emotional montages online. Within hours, the post had millions of likes and comments like, "He still cares," and "This is about Dakota." Chris Martin, meanwhile, stayed calm but reportedly grew protective of Dakota, insisting that the media back off. One insider said, "Chris isn't angry about Jamie. He just hates seeing Dakota hurt. He knows she's been carrying the past for too long." Eventually, Dakota herself addressed the situation subtly in a magazine interview. When asked about Setting boundaries in relationships, she replied. Sometimes, people don't understand that love stories, even the ones that don't last, still shape who we are. You don't erase them. You learn to live with them quietly. Her words struck a chord with fans. They weren't angry anymore. They were emotional, understanding. It became clear that her reaction that night wasn't about rage or jealousy. It was about grief. The kind that lingers when a chapter ends without closure. One of her longtime friends put it simply. Dakota doesn't hate Jamie. She just can't carry that story anymore. It's heavy. And so, as the noise faded and the rumors began to die down, one truth remained. Love doesn't always disappear. Sometimes, it hides in the unspoken, in the names we avoid, and in the hearts that still ache when the past is mentioned out loud. Because for Dakota Johnson, "Don't mention him again," wasn't just a reaction. It was a confession that some memories still hurt, even after the love is long gone.